like Castelvecchio, heading top gear.
Hot King Prawn, he is a ripper.
Speed on the outside, got up to win it.
Magnificent. Hillbit wins the William Reed.
The Grey Flash is now an Everest legend.
Hello, I'm Caroline Searcy. Welcome to the preview of the 2021 Inglis Classic Yearling Sale to be held here at Riverside at Warwick Farm in Sydney. Coming up in the next half hour, we'll be catching up with Sebastian Hutch from Inglis, also renowned bloodstock agents Craig Rounsefell and Andy Williams, as we look at the catalogue that spawned so many Group 1 performers, such as the Melbourne Cup winner in Vow and Declared, Everest winner, Classic legend, recent Group 1 winner in Hong Kong, Hot King Prawn, and so many more. Sebastian, it's an exciting time of year, isn't it? There's so much that's gone into this sale for so many vendors.
I think exciting would be an understatement, Caroline. We've been looking forward to this for a very long time, and it's nice to have the sale finally on the horizon, and horses have come together really nicely. The stallions are doing the right thing. The vendors seem happy. There are going to be plenty of buyers here, and looking forward to a pretty exciting few days of action.
Also on the panel is the President of the Federation of Bloodstock Agents of Australia, and from Boomer Bloodstock, Craig Rounsefell. And Boomer, it's been a busy time for you. How are the inspections going of these classic yearlings?
Yeah, the on-farm inspections are going really well. I think it's the catalogue has continued to get bigger and bigger over the last few years, and the quality has continued to improve. So we've been on the road. I think all the agents, trainers are out there doing the work, and we'll be set to go in just under a week.
Also joining us is Andy Williams from Andrew Williams Bloodstock. And Andy, you've taken a slightly different tack. You're waiting to see the yearlings on the grounds here at Riverside.
Well, just this year, it's just with Magic Millions finishing and the New Zealand Bloodstock online, I had a number of clients selling and a few clients trying to buy. So it was just a bit hard to be away from the computer inspecting. So I've decided that we'll just see everything at the complex this year.
Sebastian, the Classic Sale has a great record of producing Group 1 winners from yearlings that cost under $100,000. Of course, the Melbourne Cup winner, Vow and Declare, Hot King Prawn, Pippi, some great Group 1 winners fall into that category. How do you go about selecting the yearlings for the catalogue that provides such great value for buyers?
Well, Caroline, $100,000 just seems to be a watershed figure for a lot of buyers, and that's why we pinpoint graduates that have been successful for under that amount. I mean, the fact that 8 of the 10 Group 1 winners at a Classic could have been bought for under 100 grand kind of demonstrates to people that stock and quality stock isn't unattainable at a sale like Classic. You know, to pay a premium for it. And when we're trying to put together the catalogue for the sale, first of all, we want a really well diversified catalogue. There are over 100 stallions represented in the book, and I think it's 76 individual vendors. So we feel that's an important part of soliciting a broad cross-section of people for the sale and interest in the sale. And we want to try and find racehorses. I mean, fundamentally, you're trying to put yearlings in the catalogue that we think can go and win good races. And, the team have done a very good job of doing that over the years. And we're very hopeful that there are more top-class racehorses in this year's catalogue.
Boomer, what are some of the key things that make you want to buy at Classic? Why would you encourage other people to try and buy yearlings through the Classic Sale?
I think in the Classic Sale, you can, what Sebastian was saying, you can find extremely good value horses. They might not have the pedigree, but they're great types, and then inevitably they go on to be top racehorses. Also, there's a lot of these smaller farms that this is their grand final. So there's, those are the ones I like honing in on. These are their best of their crop that they're bringing to market, and you can find really good value prices. And I think the other thing too is the Classic over the last few years that at that upper end as well, as there's vendors now that are putting in some horses that do have some substantial pedigrees by the top stallions, and they can get rewarded. So you can come here with clients at all price points and find your horses.
And is the Classic Sale a good sale for bloodstock agents and trainers to get horses placed with new owners?
Yeah, definitely, purely from a price point of view. But I mean, this sale offers so many different jobs. You've got New Zealand pinhookers looking to buy out of this sale. You've got Hong Kong, you've got Australian trainers, you've got New Zealand trainers. So I mean, there's every price point. So it actually caters for a huge spectrum of clients and obviously buyers.
Sebastian, it's been a sale that's focused on type over pedigree, but we can see with some of the results of the 2-year-old graduates that it really has been upgraded in recent years. I mean, you look at horses such as Extreme Choice, Castel Vecchio, they're now 2 stallions at stud, and super race fillies, She Will Reign, Yankee Rose, Fiesta, and so many more.
Look, I mean, we obviously do a lot of work in terms of trying to promote the sale, but the stats at a classic for 2-year-old success are outstanding. It's best part of a quarter of the runners out of the sale win as 2-year-olds, and that's comparable to pretty much any other sale in the country. It stands up to the closest scrutiny relative to some of the earlier sales or Easter, etc. So you're not compromising yourself in any way by buying from a sale like Classic. And I think Craig made a good point. Obviously a lot of the bigger farms are well represented in the sale, but those farms that specifically target the sale, whether it's Bell River, Fairhill, Fairview, Carramar, these sort of farms that target as their primary sale, you really can find some gems there. And you just keep rooting through the catalogue and you'll find some nice horses. There's no doubt about it.
Andy, obviously it's about what your clients are looking for when you're buying at Classic, but how do you fine-tune your list of the yearlings you want to bid on?
Very much type orientated. It's a very important sale for that. But there's obviously a lot of young mares there, and you hope that there's some nice types out of them. But at the end of the day, I reckon this is very much a racehorse sale. So type's important for me, and I know a lot of people sort of concentrate on that for the sale.
A lot of the clients that generally at Classic, they're just wanting a racehorse. They're not sort of too focused on the pedigree. There is certain horses in the catalogue that are going to make a lot of money, and people hone in on those. But for most of the clients of mine that come to this sale that want to buy, they're not really too interested in pedigree. They're just wanting to buy a racehorse. So types trumps it all.
In 2021, we have a wonderful group of first season sires, 22 of them in fact. Some of the finest racehorses in the world, many are multiple Group 1 winners. Almanzor from Cambridge Stud in New Zealand, Caravaggio, Churchill and Merchant Navy at Coolmore Stud, the Globetrotter Highland Reel, Russian Revolution, Impending, Invader, Tosin Stardom and others that have also performed at the highest level such as Hellbent, Pariah and Spieth. Sebastian, it really is a mouth-watering selection, isn't it, of these first season sires?
Yeah, it's a pretty sexy group of horses. The market already seems to be pretty high on a number of them. We're very keen to get strong representation from the good first season stallions because the market's very fond of them and it's something people get really excited about. So to have a broad cross section in the catalogue is great for the sale. It's great for people coming to buy from the sale. And some of those horses really represent good value because it's not actually nailed down what sort of progeny those first season stallions are going to be the ones, so to speak. So, people can find horses out of the box just by honing in on what really appeals to them. And, I don't like to single out particular first season stallions because, in a lot of cases you got left looking like a lemon because you picked the wrong one. But, there's some horses there that look like they have credentials to go and be really good stallions, and it'll be interesting to see what materializes over the next 12 to 24 months. I mean, even with the first crop horses last year, I think there have been some pleasant surprises amongst them, and hopefully this will be the case for the first crop this year as well.
Andy, we've already seen these stallions being so popular at the sales we've seen so far. Of course, Almanzor's a 3-time European Group 1 winner. He sold particularly well. Hellbent, an Inglis graduate himself, he sold for $95,000 through the Inglis Classic Sale. There's an Inglis Easter graduate who sold for $700,000 in Pariah by the great Redout's Choice. Who do you think will excel as one of the top first season sires coming through this sale?
Well, you look at a horse like Almanzor, or even, I've bid on 5 or 6 of them this week in New Zealand. 2 weeks ago, the Magic Millions, I haven't even got near them. They're so well sought after. Likes of Churchill, they're flying as well. You try and get a good one of them, they're making their money. Hellbents, for example, as well. I was lucky enough to be able to get a Hellbent and a Pariah at the Magics, but hopefully, definitely looking through that catalogue, there looks like there's going to be a lot of opportunities there, and I wouldn't be surprised if the market's red hot on them again.
Indeed, Boomer, who are you most interested in with these first season stallions in 2021?
Well, obviously Hellbent, the types he's throwing so far have been consistent, but a horse like Highland Reel, the ones I've seen by him, I haven't really seen too many bad ones by him that might be a nice that suit some of the trainers I buy for that like those milers. He's one that I'm sort of keeping a keen eye out for.
And Sebastian, the class of 2020, shall we call it? Of course, these are the stallions that are the first crop sires with 2-year-olds already running for them. It's been incredible, all of them. So many of them have winners so far. Obviously, Arrowfield's Shalar is leading the way with a gun 2-year-old in Shaquiro. Newgate's 4 young sires, Capitalist, Flying Artie, Extreme Choice and Winning Rupert, all have multiple winners. There are currently 19 or so first crop sires with those 2-year-old winners. So it really is an extraordinary group of stallions.
Yeah, like they set an interesting precedent for the horses with first yearlings this year. And obviously the horses that people are probably expected to go out and get 2-year-olds or good 2-year-olds like Shala and Capitalist have done a really good job, really eye-catching job. But a horse like Flying Artie has probably flew under the radar a little bit of the yearling sales last season, has done really well. You know, it looks like he's a stallion that's capable of making a name for himself. And so you're looking for the equivalent horses in this year's crop. People are expecting Russian Revolution and Hellbent and Pariah to come out and get 2-year-olds. But it'll just be interesting to see what sort of impression horse like Churchill might be able to make. You know, he might be the Flying Artie of this crop, you know, just fly under the radar a little bit and have stock that are capable of making an impression a little earlier on. But the group with 2-year-olds at the moment looks a really strong group. I mean, I think it's 19 of them now that have had winners from their first crop, which is quite extraordinary relative to the performance of previous crops. And, you know, they look to be horses that are capable of getting precocious early runners. And then there are a number of them that obviously look like they'll be able to get horses that improve as autumn and winter 2-year-olds are into their 3-year-old season. So it's pretty exciting for the industry as a whole. And fortunately, they're well represented in the catalogue. So again, there are going to be opportunities there.
They are indeed. Boomer, it makes it pretty hard as a bloodstock agent, doesn't it? You know, normally there are 2 or 3 that might really have stood out with their early 2-year-olds. But, you know, as Sebastian said, it's sort of 19 or so that all have winners and often multiple winners already from their 2-year-olds.
Yeah, absolutely. It opens up the window of more horses you can probably consider that, you know, people start getting a bit nervous with these and they might write them off too early a lot of the time. But I think at the Classic now, there's all these horses, these first year sires are well represented that are having, you know, 2-year-old runners. And, you know, if you find the type that you like, you're going to have confidence to buy one. So it's, you know, like Sebastian said, a horse like Flying Artie, to me, they didn't look like 2-year-olds and they're coming out and winning. So it, you know, bodes well for you know, horses like him going forward as 3-year-olds as well.
And Andy, do the current results from these new stallions, the first season crop from last year, do they change the way you look at some of them that you might perhaps have thought, look, I won't bother inspecting that, but now you make a real point of looking at the stock by some of these stallions?
Yeah, definitely. You just got to be open-minded with these horses, and like Sebastian said, you can look like a lemon if you start knocking a horse on the back of their types. You know, there's some very good stallions in Australia that don't throw a consistent type, and all of a sudden, you know, they've proved to be a champion sire. So at the end of the day, I think it's about, for what I do, it's probably about syndicating or reselling a horse. And, you know, with every single one of these horses might have a headline horse now with Capitalist, Flying Artie, you know, Extreme Choice. They've all got top liners that can go on and be very good Group 1 horses or Group 1 2-year-olds by the end of the season.
And Sebastian, there's a huge array of some of our great proven stallions on offer at Classic. Fastnet Rock only has the 2 fillies, one lot 29s from a daughter of Northern Meteor from Emirates Park, a relation to Prized Icon. The other lot 283 from Coolmore from Sacred Witness. She's a mare that's produced 7 winners, including the wonderful multiple stakes winner Religify. Star filly Avantage has now won another 2 Group 1s. She's by Fastnet Rock. And Dreamforce winning the George Ryder. So Fastnet Rock's doing a great job. Exceed and Excel, of course, these will be some of the last of the Exceed and Excels over the next few years. He's, of course, 20 years old. There are 3 by Exceed and Excel. He's recently had Bivouac winning 2 Group 1s, September Run winning the Coolmore Classic as well. Piero has 10, Zoostar 15, Dundeal 17, Spirit of Boom 15, Sebring 20, Pride of Dubai 17, So You Think 16, More Than Ready 10. I mean, the sire power at Classic, it really has improved in recent years, hasn't it?
I think the crystal ball will be in full working operation over the next 10 days. People trying to work out where stallions are going to sit in 12, 18, 24 months time and see what value they can find. You know, you see it every year. The market, as Andy said, makes a judgment on a horse, and you know, the market is a harsh critic, and sometimes the market gets it wrong, or plenty of instances where the market gets it wrong, makes a call on a horse too soon. And it looks like there are horses that are very well bought in a period 6, 12, 18 months later. I mean, there are a number of those horses in that group of second season stallions that might just be, really good stallions. And looking into the horses that have progeny that are a little bit older, I mean, I find Deepfield and Rubik two really interesting horses. Deepfield obviously has a massive profile, but I think it's only a matter of time before we see an absolute deluge of top class horses for him. I just think he's a really, really high class stallion waiting to happen. I mean, I could be wrong, but there's a good feel about him. And you take a horse like Rubik, who can chip out horses like Ruby Saki and Yes in his first crop. I mean, horses can fluke one good horse, but he's got too many nice horses early on in his career to say that he can't go and get more of them. And this crop of mares were mated when people were just a little bit more in the know about the horse, and I'd be surprised if he didn't have good runners come out of this crop.
And Andy, of course, everyone likes buying the proven sires, but which of these stallions do you think perhaps is undervalued in the market?
It's probably always personal preference. There'll be certain people that have had good luck with sires, and that I love Smart Missile. I probably, I've got this horse Crosshaven that we think's, pretty genuine. The Pride of Dubai, is he under the radar or not? But he's got a little Bella Nipotina. I also like a horse like Shooting to Win. We talked about Deepfield, Sebastian just did. Like his little brother, Shooting to Win, can get you a good horse and get you an earner as well. So the horses like that they're exposed. They've had a good one. They've had plenty of bad ones. But you get a good type by one of them, I'd be fully confident to go in and buy again.
Boomer, who do you think of these stallions present some good opportunities to buy at Classic?
I think that, this year you've got, Dundeel and Piero are pretty well represented. And, So You Think's always one that, he's just can produce a top line horse, and you can find value buying them. But for me this year, it's Spirit of Boom. I've got the Queensland factor happening here, and I'm going to get behind him. These are his best mares. They're considerably better than he's ever had. So they've been selling well this year so far at the other sales, and if there's Summit Classic that look the part, I'll be lining up to have a bid.
Andy, you've had some great successes. I know you were underbid, or you tried to buy Classic Legend. Well, Carmel wasn't having anything of that, so unfortunately you missed out on him. Bella Nipotina, Dragon Leap, Wild Planet. Tell us a bit about those.
Just racehorses. Like, we're very lucky to Dragon Leap, he probably is the best horse I've been associated with. And he was just unlucky he got hurt at the wrong time last year, but we think he's a serious horse. And it's no different to Classic Sale, to Melbourne, right through to Inglis. These horses are perfect little placements in their certain sales allotment. And, I think you just got to have confidence in what Inglis do. They put forward a good horse, and, they know the market as well as the vendors and the buyers, and they've got to have confidence in their product. And I'm very lucky I've had good success with the Inglis product.
And Boomer, you've also had a great run with Classic Graduates. It seems like day after day in the last week, Classic and Easter Graduates, but Standing Bear, Garibaldi, of course you've had Sweet Deal, who won the $1 Million Hunter in November. Lady Sniper's another great success for you, and her connections going on to be sold as a broodmare at the Elite Chairman's Sale. Tell me their stories.
Yeah, absolutely. They're sort of indicative of what you can find at Classic. Like Lady Sniper was one for me, earlier on in my career, where I bought her for 20,000 and sort of had a hard time selling, got family involved and friends, and she won the English Sprint and the Gosford Guineas, and earned over 300,000. And then at the English Chairman's Sale, we got 350 when Newgate bought her. And then Sweet Deal, she's just been incredible. Purchased her for 67,500 for a great group of owners, and she's just the one that keeps giving. She was in the first 2-year-old stakes race of the year as a 2-year-old, and then she's still lining up now, winning. I think she's won 3 Group 3s and just recently won the Hunter. So she'll hopefully capture Group 1 this autumn, and no doubt might be back through the Chairman's.
And Sebastian, when we look at some of the great Classic Graduates, we've mentioned Classic Legend, Hot King Prawn, Castelvecchio, those sorts of horses. It really is a progressive sale. It's really improving year on year, isn't it, the Classic?
Caroline, I love that you reminded Andy about Classic Legend. He loves hearing that story.
Sorry, Andy.
Tell you what, Sebastian, you need to get those Wexford boys over there this year, okay?
But yeah, look, I mean, I think it's interesting to talk to Andy and Craig about it, because they're obviously 2 good examples of people who bought like value horses out of the sale and done extraordinarily well with them. I mean, Andy bought Let Me Sleep On It out of the sale, and he was champion of affection full time, invincible now. Really valuable mare as a stakes winner. And obviously, Craig was talking about Sweet Deal. I mean, they're two horses that were bought for a combined total of less than 130 grand, and are worth, they're worth millions between the pair of them. Like, so it's fantastic the opportunities that a sale like Classic can represent. And it's very important, from our point of view, we want to be seen to be promoting the sale as best we can. Our vendors do a fantastic job presenting high class yearlings at the sale, and horses that go on and demonstrate their ability as top class racehorses later on. So we are unashamedly proud of the fact that a bunch of them are really good horses. 10 Group 1 winners since 2018. Group 1 winner the other day out of the sale in Hot King Prawn. Classic Legend won the Everest. It's Me won the Kosciuszko on the same day. You're talking about horses like Vow and Declare. I mean, you could have bought a Melbourne Cup winner at the Classic sale a few years ago and bought him for like 50 grand or something. It's bonkers. You buy a slipper winner out of the sale. Extreme Choice. I mean, we didn't even mention him when we were talking about the second season stallions. I mean, he might just be the best of the lot. And Luke Wilkinson plucked him out of the sale, as he tells everybody that he possibly can. Plucked him out of the sale for 100 grand. So he'll appreciate the plug on the webinar. Lucky, nice to see you. But yeah, I mean, it's a sale. It's a sale we're really proud of from that point of view. I mean, it's dollar for dollar. I'm strongly of the view that it's the best value yearling sale in Australia. It's not the most faded. It's not the most heralded, but horses out of the sale come out and run. The facts and the figures stand up to the closest scrutiny. I mean, it's very important to maintain some context around this sale. Like 6 or 7 years ago, like it was averaging 40 grand and had 400 and 500 yearlings in it. It's not like it's been a sale where Inglis have been selling 800 yearlings out of it for 10 years. Relatively speaking, there aren't a huge number of graduates compared to a number of other sales. So the fact that it's developed the profile that it has, is a credit to the people who supported it. And, people have gotten a lot of good paydays and had a lot of experiences out of it. It means that probably Craig and Andy have to pay a bit more for the horses that they really like now. But, I don't think any of the vendors are complaining about that.
Exactly. We have also, I mean, it is a testament to the catalogue. We're seeing it updated all the time. We've seen, obviously, there are a couple of relatives to the star from Hong Kong. We've been mentioning Hot King Prawn, including his full brother, Lot 561 from Torryburn, and Lot 453, a half brother to Gay and Adrian's impressive Sacramento, a colt from Beamer by Cambridge Studs Almanzor, another Lot 617 by Almanzor is a half sister to the Group 1 Levin Classic winner in Bonham. So there are updates, Sebastian, every day at the moment for this catalogue.
Yeah, and the updates come in a variety of different forms. Hugely enthusiastic with the prospects of a horse like Capitalist in the spring. But when you're putting yearlings by him in the sale, you're not absolutely sure what's going to happen. So the fact that he's come out and made such a big impression with his first runners, really enhances the profile of the sale. So you get a paternal update instead of a maternal update. The same with horses like Shala, Flying Artie, Extreme Choice, those kind of stallions. And then the maternal updates, I mean, an Almanzor sibling to Bonham, has an entirely different complexion today to what it probably had when we put the catalogue out. Bonham is, not off the top of my head, I think Bonham might be a minor winner in the catalogue. Hot King Prawn was always a top class horse, but now he's a Group 1 winner. So, credit to the team at Torryburn. They stuck that horse in to stand out of the sale, and it's going to work out really well. The timing couldn't have been better. And, right the way throughout the sale, there are siblings to horses that are, promising progressive race horses. There's a yearling in the sale that's a sibling to a filly that ran second in New Zealand 1,000 Guineas and looks like a really good filly. You go and buy a yearling like that, and you could have a sibling to a Group 1 winner in 6 months' time. Who knows how it's going to play out? So, yeah, I mean, the catalogue, we put the catalogue out in early November, and fortunately for us, by the time the sale comes around in early February, the catalogue looks a hell of a lot better today. So it's great.
It is indeed. And Andy, how do the graduates impact on your judgment of a yearling? It obviously makes a huge difference to a pedigree page when you see those updates.
Yeah, and also helps selling it as well. So that's also one of the big factors. Nothing improves an update.
Boomer, how do you assess these updates? I guess the vendors are pretty quick to tell you every time these yearlings are walking past you that there's been an update on their page.
Yeah, absolutely. And I've probably about 5 years ago, I moved over to the iPad. So it's that's quite handy. They're on there straight away as you look at the catalogue page. But yeah, if you start showing interest in any horse, the vendor will no doubt make sure that you know exactly what's going on in the family.
And Sebastian, just finally, what would you say to anybody looking to buy a yearling or wanting to get in touch with a trainer or a bloodstock agent and maybe invest in a horse here at Inglis Classic 2021?
Yeah, look, I'd encourage anybody to peruse the catalogue on the Inglis iPad app. You know, the two boys will tell you it's a very, very good app. All the information you need for the sale is there, photos, videos, etc. You know, on the Inglis website, or contact the office to get a catalogue. It in itself is very interesting reading for anybody who's passionate about racing and breeding. You get to peruse through pedigrees and recognise horses that are closely related to horses that you might have been really passionate about as race horses. And if you want to get involved, the Inglis team is obviously very keen to help, but there's a very broad cross-section of industry professionals who are more than willing to facilitate people's involvement. I mean, Craig will tell you about the Bloodstock Agents Association. You know, it's a very professional operation that wants to try and facilitate the involvement of people, adhering to professional standards, etc. And if a bloodstock agent your goal, there are a number of trainers, syndicators, etc. that are providing a very professional service, and it's a great fun industry. And I think the classic sale is a really good opportunity for people to get involved. Valuable.
Andy, thanks for your time. And how would you sum up the classic catalogue for this year?
Yeah, no, like we've all said it all afternoon or during this session here, it just keeps on improving quality-wise, individuals, pedigrees and stallion firepower. So I expect it's going to be a strong market. There's a lot of people that missed out on Magic Millions and New Zealand, and I'd say there's plenty of pockets wanting to be emptied at this sale here. So I'd say these good horses are going to make their proper money, and it's exciting for everyone.
And Boomer, yeah, that's right, as Sebastian said, as the head of FBAA, I'm sure you're trying to get people to buy through your agents. Of course, they are professionals and all highly ethical. So, how would you look at this catalogue as well when you're looking to buy, or any of the agents are looking to buy?
I think it's a sale that, nobody can be scared to come to, because you can come at any price point and know that you're a good chance to buy a horse that's going to be successful. You can come at the low point and just buy a type and forget about pedigree, or if you wanting to shop at the upper end, then those horses will be there as well. So it'll have something for everyone. The variety of the classic sale it's probably its strongest point.
And that wraps up the 2021 Inglis Classic Yearling Sale preview. Thanks to Sebastian Hutch, Andrew Williams and Craig Rounsefell for being on the panel, and thanks for watching. You can get in touch with anyone from Inglis, a trainer, a bloodstock agent, if you'd like to buy a yearling here at the Classic Sale. But be watching our live coverage on inglis.com.au from Sunday, February 7 to February 9th, hosted by yours truly and Richard Haynes. I look forward to seeing you then.